This is a deeply personal story for me. Epilepsy affected my family back in June 10th, 1970. My sister had been diagnosed with epilepsy many years before. And at the age of 17, one night, her final day of school, junior year, she passed away during the night with a seizure. Changed the dynamic of my family, changed just about everything in our lives. So it deeply and personally affected me. I really kind of lost my best friend that night. And during the years following, I've had an opportunity, as my public profile has grown quite happily, to become a spokesman for epilepsy. I'm the national spokesman for the Epilepsy Foundation in America. Currently, I'm on a $3 million fundraising campaign to identify the biomarker for what they call SUDEP, S-U-D-E-P, that is sudden unexplained death in epilepsy. It affects in the United States about 3,000 kids a year, where they just, as my sister did, pass away for no reason at all during the night. And when they do the postmortems on these unfortunate people, there's nothing wrong with them. They just absolutely, for no inexplicable reason, pass away. And so we're trying to find the biomarker. But more importantly, epilepsy is not a fatal disease and shouldn't be regarded as one. It should be a very manageable syndrome. It is a disability that affects tens of thousands of Canadians and about 3 million Americans. It's just, but something that is manageable, and there's been money that has gone in, but more money needs to go in because it is still the great unknown. People don't know why we have epilepsy. It's still, there's just so many causes, so many different types of epilepsy, and so events like this go to raise money for the awareness and for the support of people who have the caregivers that have people that are affected by epilepsy.
Good.
Because I can recall my sister's entire life as a person with epilepsy. It started with fainting spells back in second grade, and it developed into full-blown seizures back when she was in grand mal seizures back when she was in eighth grade. So she lived all of her high school life with it. Now, fortunately, my sister was a very popular girl, and so the epilepsy didn't affect her social life as it would other kids. Remember, this is a neurological disorder, and kids can be the cruelest when there's something that they don't understand, and it becomes kind of an other quality, and somebody has something weird. And also the fact that a grand mal seizure is probably the most violent thing you'll see next to actual death, and people don't understand it, and it scares everybody. And then if you look further into the people that actually are the caregivers for someone with epilepsy, and they live with a constant fear, especially if it's with parents. I always say the people that, once a child is diagnosed with epilepsy, that will be the last good night's sleep their parents have ever had. And they always sleep with one foot on the floor with a sense of awareness of what might happen during the night. Because, as they say, it's not a fatal disease, but fatal circumstances can occur. And that's the sad part about it. But with careful management, and that's the most important part for people with epilepsy.
On that, in terms of...
Well, I think yes. I think a part of the funding need for the societies all across North America are the way, because when a parent has a child that is diagnosed with epilepsy, they have no idea. They are caught blindsided by this. They have nowhere to go. They have no knowledge of what this means. And sometimes our medical practitioners don't always do the best job in helping parents cope with this. So the Epilepsy Foundations and the chapters all across North America, in both the States and Canada, are left with the responsibility of helping these people not only cope with what has just happened, but also to educate them and to tell them this is something that can be managed. And they can manage it, then they can live with it, and that's the most important part. I have been marketing a kind of a private campaign for first aid for epilepsy, because when people see seizures, they don't know what to do, and there's always the old myth about either stick your finger in their mouth because you don't want them swallowing their tongue, or putting a spoon in there, and all of that is myth, and it shouldn't be followed. I have a very simple moniker which is called "Stay on the safe side." Stay with the person. Make sure that they are safe so they're not banging their head if there's a grand mal and they're convulsing. And also turn them on their side so that they will not aspirate any fluids that they might. That's the problem, is making sure that the fluids stay out of the windpipe and the trachea. It's a very simple thing to do, and allow the person to remain there for a few minutes. I refer to it as kind of a laptop that's crashed. Eventually the laptop will reboot and everything will be fine again. But they will be exhausted. They'll have a loss probably of, or an unawareness of where they are, but they will recover very quickly in most cases. If the seizure lasts more than 5 minutes, then they should call the medical professionals, absolutely. But it's called stay on the safe side. Stay with the person, keep them on their side, and make sure that they're safe. Back in 1970, very little help was offered. We didn't know anybody that had epilepsy. There were 2 drugs out there, dilantin and phenobarbital, that were the only 2 drugs that were used to control seizures. One was phenobarbital, was discovered back in the Civil War days, and dilantin was back in the early 1900s, and they had terrible side effects to it. They were almost as bad as having to endure a seizure. So it was very, very difficult for people with epilepsy to control their seizures, and many people were are off their medications. But today there are 31 different medications. There are surgical options. There are stimulation options. There are dietary options. So many options now to for a person with epilepsy, and part of the joy of having something like Epilepsy South Central Ontario is that they are there they're there to be the mechanism to communicate all of this. Again, the maintaining a normal life with epilepsy is done by controlling your seizures. It's as simple as that. If you can control your seizures, you can live a normal life. You can have the freedom that anybody has to control their life, their job, their social life, and anything. But it is all about seizure management. Not only are we able to make an impact with an event like this, but we're having a lot of fun doing it. And, epilepsy shouldn't be something that a kind of a gut-wrenching experience. Yes, okay, you have epilepsy, all right? It's not what happens to you in life, it's what you do about it. And tonight, this is what we're doing about it. We're having a lot of fun over a competition, and everybody is putting aside their concerns, and we're going to dig in and have a wonderful competition. At the end of the night, we're going to write a nice big check to the local chapter.